What's going on, guys? Beastly Gamer here. Welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about horror movies that get turned into video games. And this is something that's relatively new, if you ask me. Most movies that get turned into video games are usually action films, fighting movies, stuff like that get turned into video games. Very seldom in the past have you seen horror movies get turned into video games. And so now with the revelation that Friday the 13th is a real thing that's coming with Kickstarter, and of course, you know, there's so many fans of this film and the series, the game is definitely going to be made. And so with the revelation of that, I'm really excited because I love horror movies. I think horror movies are probably my favorite genre of film, of all film. And so I'm excited about this whole situation with Friday the 13th coming to video game consoles. I'm excited about the way they announced it. I'm excited about the way it sounds. Jason versus all these counselors. You know, you got to survive. Jason gets power-ups. It's a multiplayer-centered experience. And I was thinking to myself, what other horror movies would translate well into video games? And so I thought of a few. I didn't think about them all because I can't do that. And I'm pretty sure you guys are going to think of some even better films that would translate into video games well. And if you do, leave it in the comments below. But I got a couple that I want to talk about now. The first one I thought of was Scream. That's right. Way back when Neve Campbell was a celebrity, Scream was a huge hit. The whole series, everybody loved Scream, and it has died down over the last few years, of course. But when the series first hit the scene, everybody was going crazy over it. Who was the mass killer? I think this would translate really well into a video game scenario. Either you can be the mass killer, or you can be one of the surviving students or friends inside of a house. And I think it would work well in multiplayer. I think it would work well in a story arc type of mode. I just think that the whole situation of not knowing who a killer is really creepy and really scary. I don't know how we'd be able to implement it into a video game, whether or not during the day or during a certain time of day, all friends get together and try to convince one another that they're not the killer. That would be actually pretty cool. If you started a multiplayer map with your friends, you know that you're the killer. You go kill one or two people, and then I guess maybe a time runs out or it turns into a day cycle and everybody gets kind of summoned to like a group area or like a lobby, and everybody's there together and everybody's really trying to convince one another that I'm not the killer, but you may be the killer. That would be a really awesome dynamic, and I think Scream would probably work really well. Another movie that I thought would translate well into a game for similar reasons is the Halloween series. Jason and Michael Myers are really, really close as far as the tropes that they have, as far as the way they kill people, as far as their seemingly invincibility to pretty much any type of attack. They've been caught on fire, stabbed, shot numerous times, and nothing has ever stopped these guys. I think Halloween will work just as well as a Friday the 13th game and probably work in a really similar vein. Michael Myers walking up and down the street. Maybe there's a 10-player online mode where there's 10 people and everybody's like in their own house and you're all watching the street. And you don't know where Michael Myers is. He might be across the street, maybe standing under a tree looking at you, or behind, you know, the back of your house. You look outside, he's at your back door. I think that would be really fun and really creepy. I'm pretty sure with this whole Friday the 13th game, they're going to be thinking of ways, other studios are going to be thinking of ways to get their creepy, terrifying monster into a video game. Another great movie that I think would translate really well into a video game. This is spoilers for people who have not seen Cabin in the Woods. If you have not seen Cabin in the Woods, I'm going to spoil that now, so go away for maybe another minute. Alright, so Cabin in the Woods, the movie, the way it works, there's a group of people who work for the government who have made a pact with Satan. And basically, unless there's a group of people sacrificed every few months, I forget how long it is, every few months or a year, Satan will come to the earth and basically wreak havoc on mankind. So inside this cabin in the wood, there are many relics and items that really should not be touched, because each one of these relics and items is attached to a demon. And so whichever one of the people in the cabin touches one of these relics first, they'll basically summon that particular demon to the cabin. The demon will then kill everybody in the cabin, basically giving humanity and mankind a reprieve from Satan rummaging and taking over the earth. So in the video game, it would be the same kind of premise. You go into a cabin in the woods, you log into the game, bam. You're there with maybe 6 or 7 other people, even online, because it seems like that's the direction the video games are going. I think online would be really fun. You log into the game, bam, you go to the cabin in the woods. You get out, you go start meeting people, you know, you all got voice chat, party chat, you're meeting people for the first time, asking them where they're from. You guys are walking around the house. Each time you play the game, these different relics are in different places. And of course, there's so many different relics that you really have a different experience every time. And so the way the game works is once you pick up one of these relics, whichever demon is associated with that, then the person who is going to play as that demon spawns into the game. So the way it'll work, you get maybe 5 minutes to goof around with people, get to know people. Then after that, you pick up a relic, maybe down in the basement, wherever they may be. Then the person who's going to be the demon spawns into the game, and you basically got to survive. I guess survive, kill the demon. I don't know how it would work, but I think it would be a lot of fun. I think Cabin in the Woods is basically a no-brainer for a video game. Another great movie that everybody's watched a million times is the Nightmare on Elm Street series with Freddy Krueger. I'm not talking about the last remake, which is absolute dog shit. I'm talking about the original with Robert Englund. I think that this would be an awesome game. Now you're asking how would Nightmare on Elm Street work? We're going to keep talking about multiplayer, but it doesn't necessarily have to be multiplayer. I think a Nightmare on Elm Street game should work with dynamic day and night cycles, that you're in the game, whether it's a single player game or multiplayer, you are a student, maybe you're in a neighborhood, and you gotta find pills, caffeine, you gotta find this kind of stuff throughout the daytime so you can stay up longer than other people. And it'll get to a point every night where you no longer can stay up. Fatigue sets in and you fall asleep, and then when you fall asleep, you're inside Krueger's world and he is after you. Of course, I think if it was an actual human being controlling Freddy, it would be a more terrifying experience, but I'm sure that even if it was a single player experience, it would be a lot of fun. I don't know how they would be able to do it. I'm thinking maybe like The Evil Within. That game, how you basically go through a doorway and you're in an alternate reality, kind of like a Silent Hill type situation. I think Freddy Krueger's world will be something like that, where you go there, there's blood, there's dead bodies, anything terrifying that'll really terrify you could be there. And of course, you gotta brave the storm of who Freddy Krueger is until you wake up, or until one of your friends wakes you up, which would be actually really awesome if you're in a multiplayer type of mode and Freddy's about to kill you and one of your friends is still awake and they're actually in the same game as you, and you tell them which house you're in, and they need to come and wake you up, and then they come running into the house and shake you awake before Freddy gets you. I think that would be really, really awesome. You guys let me know what you think about that. I think that's probably a really good one. Another horror movie that I'm a big fan of is Dawn of the Dead. Of course, I do love Romero's original, but I think I like the remake a little bit more, and I think a Dawn of the Dead game in the true spirit of the remake would be absolutely phenomenal, where you're trapped inside of a mall. There's 100 different stores you can go into. You can craft things. You can go on top of the roof and talk across the parking lot to the gun store. You can go underground, get some guns, all this crazy stuff. If you've seen the Dawn of the Dead movie, I think that movie would be an awesome game. Of course, it would be better with multiplayer, but I'm sure they could probably do a really faithful to the movie single player campaign. And the last movie that I'm going to mention, and like I said, I'm not going to mention all the movies, I'm just thinking of a few off the top of my head. It Follows is a movie that came out this year, which is a movie that I absolutely fell in love with. It Follows, if you've not seen the movie, spoilers, so please step off for a minute. The movie is about this creature, this demon that follows a particular person. The reason it follows a person is because that person has been infected by having sex with the person the demon was chasing last. So this thing will follow you on foot, walking slowly. It can't run, it'll walk to you until you have sex with somebody else. If you have sex with someone else, it'll change its trajectory and chase after that person. I think this game would be awesome. I think it would be really good if it was just a single player, or even if it was a multiplayer experience. I don't think that having a computer controlled enemy would change much of anything, because really it can't run, it'll have to walk. And so I'm thinking maybe you have a certain diameter of space that you can run around in the game to get away from this thing, and there will be a mode where you're able to maybe flirt with people, flirt with chicks, flirt with dudes, get busy with them and kind of pass it on to the next person. I think that's a good idea. I haven't fleshed it out fully, but I would love to see gratuitous violence and gratuitous sex in an awesome video game. And I think It Follows would be the one to do the one to go in that direction. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm really excited about this Friday the 13th. Jason is one of the, of course, legendary horror villains in the world. You guys let me know if you're excited about that game. And let me know about these ideas. Scream, Halloween, Cabin in the Woods, Nightmare on Elm Street, Dawn of the Dead, and It Follows. Which of these games would you like to see the most coming out to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One? If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I'm the Beastly Gamer, and I'll see you guys next time.